first and foremost, I want to give all honors and praises and glory belongeth to my Lord and Savior, whose name is Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waharakah Kwadash. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. Okay? And double honor to the elder apostle of Great Millstone that teaches truth well, and to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the few, the very few brothers and sisters listening and also learning across the globe. Okay? And to the hopeful elect, so like I enter the hopeful elect across the globe. This lesson, what am I going to call this lesson? Bear me just a minute. I haven't got the name of it still. I've written it down. Quickly go to it. This is, in war you have to adapt. Okay? No emotions, no emotional attachments. Okay? In war you have to adapt quickly. Because if you don't adapt, what's going to happen? You're going to end up dying. And this is a war, spiritually first and physically. More so spiritually. So I want to start off on Deuteronomy 20 and go to verse 5. And the officers shall speak unto the people, saying, what man is there that have built a new house and not dedicated it? Okay, in other words, committed yourself unto that particular thing. Okay? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it. They take it. Okay? So that's why we're not supposed to be what? Mentally joined onto anything that's around us. Because we know we're not even flesh and blood is going to inherit the kingdom of heaven. Verse 6, what man is he that hath planted a vineyard and have not eaten of it? Let him also go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle and another man eat of it. So what's a vineyard? We are growing food. Okay? And what man is there that have betrothed a wife and have not taken her? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle and another man take her. So what is betrothment going to? What? Engagement. Okay, to betroth, to engage. Okay, which is what? Marry. Okay, which goes into what? Bedfellow, your spouse. Okay, unless another man take her, because these are the things that people think about. These are carnal thoughts. Okay, the officers shall speak further unto the people, and they shall say, what man is there that is fearful and faint-hearted? So if you're fearful and faint-hearted, that's going to cause you to make what? The wrong decisions. That's going to cause you to freeze. So when you're fearful and faint-hearted, you can't take any action. You can't be efficient in this truth, because your fear is holding you back. What is he? There's a difference between the fearing Yahweh Shai and fearing the things of this world. If you have that mentality, what if this happens? What if that happens? But I'm scared if this happens. That means you can't really be efficient in this truth, because you're always worrying about the worst case scenarios. No, obviously we use discernment, but you have to believe that Yahweh Shai is with you. And through that faith, you're going to believe in that. See, there's a difference between the fear of the Lord Yahweh Shai and the fear of man. Oh, what does this person think? What does that person? What if this happens? That means now you're controlled by the fears of this world. Because the fear of Yahweh Shai will lead you what? To do this work, no matter where you are, no matter where you go. What man is there that is fearful and faint-hearted? Bear me just a minute. Okay, here we go. There's three different definitions for it. Let's go to... Okay, yeah. Here we go. Ra'ak.
Strong's H7390.
It's Ra'ak. Okay, and it says, okay, tender, okay, soft, okay, delicate, weak, tender, delicate of flesh, weak of heart, which is going into mind, timid. In other words, you're timid. The Lord's looking for men that are going to fight for him no matter what case scenario they're in. Not so much physically, spiritually. You have to be mentally strong. Because if you're not mentally strong, you're going to break. It's one thing being strong, being able to fight. All right, that's good. You can protect yourself, but are you mentally? Implication: weak, faint-hearted, soft, tender-hearted are considered, which was considered a defect. Okay. Yahushua is looking for those that are going to stand up and fight. Give me just a minute. Okay, let's go back to Deuteronomy 20. And we're on 8. Let him go and return to his house. So if you're in that spirit, it's better you just return back. It's better you don't even come. It's better you don't even come to camp. Not to sound bad, man. I'm not trying to discourage anyone, but it's better you don't come to, because you're going to... That spirit, what, is contagious. Okay? Let him go and return to his house, lest his brethren's heart faint, as well as his heart. So that's showing you. The spirit of doubt, the spirit of fearfulness, faintness, that can be contagious, because it wouldn't have said, lest his brethren's heart faint. They start getting weak. Okay? As well as his heart. Okay? So the scriptures, it's letting you know. You got to be all about Yahushua. You can't let nothing get in the way of that. Maybe just a minute. So we're done with that. We're going to quickly, because I've got this in particular order. Let's go to Matthew 10 and 37, Baba Kashar. Because, you know, when you first come into this truth, I can't speak for everybody, but what's the first thing? The attachments. The relationships you had in the world. Which they were really fickle, even with your family. Okay, let's go to Matthew 10. Because your family, they don't have your best interest at heart. That's what you got to remember. They don't have your best interest at heart. The people of the world, they don't have your best interest at heart. Okay. Salakia, and I just want to rephrase that. When I said the relationships that you had with your family, they were not fickle. But I'm talking about in the means of being in this truth and them being in the world. It's fickle. Matthew 10. And let's go get straight to the point on this. Because, again, there's a level of what? Spiritual maturity. Knowing that not everybody's going to make it. You've got to worry about yourself. Okay? Let's go to Matthew 10 and 35. For I am come. You know what? Let's start at 34. Think not I am come to send peace on earth. So, again, if you're in that weak spirit, okay, you're going to think Yahushua is coming to send peace on earth. If you're in that Christianity spirit, that's what you're going to think. I came not to send peace, but a sword. So Yahushua is coming with a sword. And what's that sword going to be for? Slaying. For I am come to set a man at variance. Variance goes into what? Indifference. Enmity. Friction. So this is what Yahushua is coming to do against his father. So it's Yahushua that causes that separation. And the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Because you're also going to have what? Women that believe. And their mother, they may have a problem with their mother. Vice versa with the son and the father. Okay? So, who causes that division? Yahushua. This shows you he's about division. Even within the nation of Israel. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. So scriptures let you know, even in your own household, you may have a father or mother, whoever, auntie, whoever, that may be a foe. So that means the enemy of Yahushua. So that's where you gotta get out of your emotions. and be spiritual. Okay? He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Okay, so there's what you gotta break this down in the right context. What did Yahweh Shai mean by that? If you're putting your family or your mother, and what does that really go into? Idolatry. So if you put these things, if you love, because it's not saying you can't love your family, but if you love your mother or your father or your daughter, whoever, or your son, more than you love Yahweh Shai, it says you're not worthy of him. So what's Yahweh Shai showing us? To put him first before everything. Abraham done it. What did Abraham do? Went to sacrifice Isaac. Why? Because he loved Yahweh Shai more. It's not that he did not love Isaac, but that was his faith. That was the manifestation of his faith. He's not worthy of me. So if you're in that spirit, oh mama, dada, if you're in that spirit, then you're not going to last long. No, because the scripture says, look, you honor thy mother and thy father. But now what? If they're telling you to stop believing the Bible, stop going to camp, are you going to stop going to camp? If they tell you to jump off a cliff, are you going to jump off a cliff? No, you got to stand for something. Because if you don't stand for something, that's what men, they stand for something. And that's the first, I'm talking about when you first come to the truth. That's something that may be hard for you to deal with. But over time, you overcome it. And you become numb to these things. Because, let me tell you this. Most of your family members, if you were to stop doing this, they would throw us a party for you. So that shows you how much they don't really care. That's why you have to be spiritual. Get out of your feelings. Get out of your emotions. Whoever this applies to, it applies to. And okay, it's not easy for some. But that's one thing you have to get over quick. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Because some brothers, they have sons, they have daughters. But it's not saying you're not supposed to love them. Of course you love them. They came from you. But if you put these things before Yahweh Shai, it's not worthy of me. And if you are a man of the Lord, this may upset some of you. This may upset some of you. If you're really a man of the Lord and your family are in your way, Yahweh Shai could separate you from them or even take them out. That's how much Yahweh Shai loves his elect. Or set up a scenario where you don't see them as much. He that findeth his life, it's like verse 38, and he that taketh not his cross. So part of taking up your cross is dealing with your own personal trials, not complaining and bitching about it, and follow after me. So you got to take your own cross, because every man's been given their own cross, their own trial. So he that followeth after me, and he that taketh not his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. So if you're not willing to suffer, then you're not worthy of Yahweh Shai. Verse 40, he that receiveth you, I'm moving too fast, he that findeth his life shall lose it. So if you find your life here, what's part of finding your life? It's not wanting to let go of your life. That's finding your life here. Which really you have not found life. Okay? Shall lose it. And he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. So what's part of losing your life? Because you might think, oh, dying. No, it's not. See, you got to be spiritual. Losing your life is the old life you had. You may have been really, really outgoing. Clubbing, going here, going there, doing that. Whatever you were doing. And slowly, those things get put away, and you start becoming a new man. And it's gradually, because it doesn't come overnight. Some it takes months. For some it takes a year. For some it takes longer. But gradually you start becoming a new man. Okay? So if you're losing your life, you're going to find it. How are you finding life? Through Yahweh Shai. That's that change. That's that reformation. A lot of guys want to come into the truth, but they still want to live their old life. Now let's go to Luke 14 and 28, Baba Kashar. Luke 14 and... Again, wait, this is spiritual. Maybe let's go to Luke 14 and 25. The same thing. And there were great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, if any man come to me and hate not his father. Okay, this is hate. Does this mean you end up, punching up? No, it doesn't mean that. See, in the term of hating, you despise what your family are doing because they're not walking in the ways of Yahweh Shai. They still eat pork. They're still shaving their beards. That grieves you because you're living the right way. So there's going to be that variance because you're living godly now. And they look at that as something's wrong with it. Okay? That's how they look at it. So there's going to be the opposition. That's why Yahushua was telling us this. If any man come to me and hate not his father or mother and wife and children and brethren. So when you read this, you have to have understanding. Okay? And sisters, yeah, and his own life. Even your own life. You have to even hate your own life. Also, he cannot be my disciple, my follower. So these are, what's the word? These are, what should I call it? The stipulations, the things that are needed for you to be a disciple of Yahweh Shai. Okay? There's another word I was looking for. Okay? You know when you're filling out a CV, okay? If I'm using the right word, they're the conditions of that CV, the things that are needed. If there's a better word, but I can't come up with it. Okay? And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you intending to build a tower? So, when you're building a tower, what are you doing? You don't just build out of nowhere. You count the funds. You make sure you've got enough equipment. So in this truth, we want to make sure we got the right equipment, using the right things, and the right budget. Sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether ye have sufficient to finish it. So what do? We count the cost. Have you got enough? Have you got what it takes? Some individuals don't do that. They just go head first. And they don't even realize what they're getting involved in. Some people just come into this because it looks good or it looks a particular way, or I don't know, maybe they had no friends in the world. No, if you came in for that reason, then eventually you're going to fall out. You have to know why you're doing this. Sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it. Sufficient means enough. Okay, when you're building, you have a building budget. We're going to spend this much on the lamps, electricity. The walls, it costs this much, about 500, 400. The cabinets, another 200. The blinds, 60 pounds. The windows, a couple £100. The different encasings, the woods, the back, all these different things. So you count the cost, you set yourself a budget, you write it down. This happily he have laid the foundation. What's the foundation? The groundwork. You started and is not able to finish it. And all that see it, behold it, begin to mock him. So what ends up happening? And you've seen this so many times. so many times when individuals, they start, but they don't finish. And what ends up happening? People see and they say, hold on, where's he gone? Has he gone AWOL? He stopped, he couldn't finish, or people mock you. And then it's going to be definitely known that you don't stand for nothing, because now you got to remember, you were in the world, you came into the truth. And when you come into the truth, now there's a higher standard, and you fell out of the truth. So people are going to look at you like you don't stand for nothing. You don't stand for nothing. Because for a man to come leave the world, come into the truth, and leave the truth, what does that say about that individual? That he doesn't have any type of character. That's why we got to be about Yahawashi and his business. And it's not up to us. It's up to Yahawashi if we endure. That's why we got to pray, we got to fast, we got to do everything we can to maintain. Let's spare me just saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. And this is what happens in the truth. And then individuals, they come up with a name for you. Okay? Bear me just a minute. So okay, that's just a dove making some noise. Maybe just a minute. So let's go to Luke 14, where was I? Saying this man began to build and was not able to finish. Okay, so people are going to notice that. Or what king, this is the main point, going to make war against another king, sitteth not down first. Because even in battle, even in war, there's funds. Okay? Consultive, what's consultive? Counsel, whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000. Okay, so in war, you're gonna, can I do this? You know, even though I've got 10,000, I'm going to get 20,000. They have more. Okay. Or else while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassage and desire conditions of peace. Bear me just a minute. Bear me just a minute, Baba Kashar. Very serious. Men just come into this truth head first, and they don't even realize what it's about until they're in the truth. And then it's too late. Oh, what did I get myself involved in? No, you're supposed to know that. A message sent by what's it? Embassy high ranking men, group H high ranking men. Yep. Bear me just a minute. Embassy, a group of high ranking men, and desire conditions of peace. Okay, because if you ain't got enough to go to war with this 20,000, what you may send other mighty men to condition to to desire conditions of peace, because you know you can't defeat this army. Okay. So likewise, whoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he have, he cannot be my disciple. So certain individuals will even read this and say, well, does that mean you can't have a car? Does that mean you can't have jewelry? Does that mean you can't have a TV? Does that mean you cannot have a refrigerator? No. It says, likewise, whosoever he be that cannot forsaketh all that he have, he cannot be my disciple. And even when you go into that parable with the individual, he said he done all things. Okay, but he went away sad because he had many possessions. Remember, everything we're reading is spiritual. Everything. So what was the things he could not let go of? See, what's the things that men can't let go of in this truth? Vainglory, the love of the world. Okay? Because obviously, if you're doing the work, and Yahawashi he's dealing with you, then obviously you're not of the world. So what things was it speaking of? The things in the world. Vainglory, popularity, Because this man had done all, he had done all the other things. He was charitable. He was boasting about he pays tithes, he does this, he knows this. So he that forsaketh not all that he hath cannot be my disciple. And a lot of men, they're not willing to do that. Those of you with 1,000 subscribers, you're not willing to forsake all that. You're trying to save your life. You're trying to hold on to your channel. That's you trying to save your life. So you see how this truth is very, very spiritual. Lord's he's looking for men. Not cowards, not wimps, not sissies. Let's quickly go to Ecclesiasticus 19 and 26, Baba Kashar. Because if I had that mentality, guess what? I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't make a move, man. You're too scared to make a move. And Yahushua said the labourers are what? Plenty. And the harvest is plenty, but the labourers are few. There should be brothers. Really, there should be brothers out on every town, especially in London, every town, every borough. Okay? A man can say he has all... Oh, I ain't got the Apocrypha. A man can say he has all this faith, but he ain't doing nothing. Okay, to work on that faith. Ah, man. Shit. Can't find it. Well, you know what that scripture says? A sinful man will not be... bear me just a minute. There it is, a sinful. Here it is, Ecclesiasticus chapter 32 and 17. A sinful man will not be reproved. So if you're very sinful, if you're wicked, you're not gonna be reproved. You're not gonna be able to take any reproving. You're gonna always think you're right. You're always gonna come up with some high philosophical explanation or point of why you do what you do or why you think how you think. And that's a sign of what? Immaturity. Okay, someone that doesn't want to be reproved. But findeth. So if you're trying to find something, you're trying to come up with your own reason why you do what you do, whatever it is. But findeth an excuse. What's another excuse? Word for excuse. A reason according to his own will. So if you're wicked, if you're a sinful man, you're going to find an excuse of why you shouldn't fulfill your measure. Why you should not fulfill your lot as a man of the Lord. So when particular things are brought your way, like how comes you're not doing videos? How comes you're going missing? You're going to be making excuses. Okay? According to what? His own will. According to your will. According to what you think things should be. And what's that? That's pride. Okay, bear me just a minute. Bear me just say anything else. Okay, let's delete that. Let's go to Isaiah, because the society we're living in is very masculinity is now. We're in a time where if you're masculine, that's looked down upon. So now, the more masculine you are in this society, the more it's looked down upon, especially in this Western world. It's more different in Eastern Europe and some other countries. But in the West, people are threatened by masculinity, of having an austere spirit. You know? Some men in the ancient world, they would talk loud with bass in their voice. When you go to a job, they tell you to take the bass out of your voice. Some jobs tell you to shave your beard. Okay, so this society, what Esau pushes out is completely contrary to the scriptures. He wants you to be a masculine. But the scriptures teach you what masculinity. And what's true masculinity? Faith. Because if you don't have faith, what does it mean to be faithless? That means you're effeminate. Effeminate means what? Faithless. Bear me just a minute. Bear me just a minute. Bear me just a minute. Feminine. Very weak society. Why ain't it coming up? Bear me just a minute. Feminine. See if we can get this word up. Okay. Go into that word effeminate.
Strong's G 3120. Malakas.
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 Malakas. And when you go into that word, malakas, excuse me, I've got the hiccups. Soft to the touch. Metaphor in a bad sense, so not in a good sense. Effeminate, because you could be soft as in the way you come across, because the scriptures talk about some froward, some gentle. But to be soft in mind, effeminate, of a catamite, of a boy kept for homosexual relations with a man. And the scriptures tell you, effeminate shall not inherit the kingdom of heaven. A boy kept for homosexual relations with man, a male who submits his body to unnatural lewdness, okay, of a male prostitute. And it also goes into what? Soft, fine clothing, catamite, effeminate, soft. So Lord, he despises those attributes, because that's not a man, that's a woman's trait. To be soft, to be effeminate, to have her head down. Okay. So let's go to Isaiah 46:8, Babka Shah. The fear you're supposed to be controlled by is the fear of Yahweh Shai. And that's what's going to cause you to what? To serve him. The fear of man, that bringeth a snare. It keeps you trapped. It keeps you still. It keeps you frozen. Isaiah 46:8. Remember this. Remember from your mind, and show yourselves. If you're showing yourself, you're presenting yourselves. Men. See, Yahweh Shai, he deals with men who have a manly spirit about them. Bring it again to mind, O you transgressors, because our people, all of our people have been astray. And this goes for myself as well. All of our people have been astray mentally. Okay? Mentally have been destroyed. Okay? By the media, by all this rubbish. But guess what? Coming into this truth, we're being what? Renewed. So it says, bring it again to mind. How do we bring these things to mind? By reading the scriptures. How did King David, he was no wimp. He was no sissy. Yahweh Shai certainly was not. King David took on what? Goliath. Goliath had it all in the physical. All in the physical, Goliath had it. Tall. Okay. A man of war from his youth. Had the spear. Had the shield. King David, ruddy. Likened unto a stripling also. But King David what? He could not put on the armor. That was not fitting for him. Okay. And how did he destroy Goliath? By the words. But that all started in his mind. He couldn't defeat Goliath if he did not have that faith. He could not defeat Goliath if he did not have that belief. Because prior to that, when Goliath would always come out, he would taunt the children of Israel. And what would the children of Israel do? Run, hide. He would taunt them all the time. They were in fear. So every time he presented himself, they were in fear. Until David came along. He said, no, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that defies our Lord Yahweh Shai? So there's examples of faith. And even Saul was kind of, Saul, the King Saul was discouraged. Because he was saying to David, don't you know this man has been a man from his youth? That never bothered David. That never bothered him. Okay? Because he had that faith. He was showing himself as a man. Okay? Bear me just a minute. I ain't got my apocrypha with me right now. And it really goes down to a lot of things that Esau's putting in the food. I want to quickly go into what's that word? I forgot it. There's a word. Estrogen. I'm gonna go into that word estrogen. Estrogen is a hormone that plays various roles in the body in females. It helps develop and maintain both the reproductive system and female characteristics such as breast and pubic hair. Okay. So when we go into this word estrogen, it's a female hormone basically. So when you're acting that way, it's because you got a lot of estrogen in you. That's why you don't eat soy, things with soy in it. And even the wheat, since the the Passover with the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which really that's representative of the yeast that you get out. Okay, even though you get the yeast out of your house, the yeast actually talking about of the doctrine and anything that you have in you was not acceptable. But anyway, long story short, the yeast. Okay, I started eating some yeast again, but again, I'm trying to come off the yeast because it really does have an effect. All that yeast, that wheat. Okay. And all these, what does it do? It rises up. So all these things, it can also cause what? Estrogen. Drinking out of plastic bottles causes estrogen. Esau does all these things because he knows his whole thing is trying to destroy you. His whole pharmaceutical business is trying to destroy you because he knows if you were to have the knowledge of what true medicine and what's good for you, then the pharmacies and the doctors and the hospitals will go out of business overnight. And this is not a million industry. It's a billion to trillion industry, the hospital and the pharmacy industry. So if man and woman knew how to what to eat right, they would go out of business overnight. But they don't want you to. That's why they keep on poisoning you, give you these tablets. You can't even pronounce the names. Even when you go into I want to say this as well. Even when you go into these stores and you may think you're eating nutritious stuff, they've mixed nutritious stuff, which is good for you, in with tablets. So the things that are good of you, they've merged it in a tablet form. So now they've destroyed the thing that's good by merging it with a tablet. This is why this devil needs to go down. This is why this devil needs to go down. So something that was once good, Esau has turned it into a tablet form and produced it in a laboratory. So it's no more, it's not in its natural form anymore. And this came to mind because I went to a particular store, a Whole Food store, and I'm looking about. Some things in that store are legit in terms of herbology, but when you're looking at other things, you hold on a minute. Most of it is in tablet forms. Then when you're reading the packaging, it says gelatin. What's it? Caking agents. Bear me just a minute. Caking agents. You know what? I want to show you something. I think I still got an old thing I got. Bear me just a minute. Let me show you something. Okay. So this is one of the things I got. This is like from, man, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and maybe even longer. I think 2 or 3 or 4 years ago I got this, and right here this says high strength Holland and Barrett's zinc. So this is supposed to be zinc, which zinc is what? For good blood flow. Okay, normal function, immune system, maintenance of what? Hair, nails. But when you actually look at what's in it, bear me just a minute. Had these for some time. Have a look at that. It's in a tablet form. Okay, in a tablet form, and it says 15 milligrams of zinc. But when you go into the ingredients, bulking agents. Okay, bear me just a minute. Decalcium, phosphate, microcrystalline, cellulose, zinc crocronite, anti-caking agents, magnesium stearate, silicone dioxide. So let's quickly go into that word, bulking agents. Oh my gosh. So it's something that was injected in what? In patients. For what? For stress. Okay. Bulking agents can consist of synthetic materials of bovine collagen. Oops, what's going on here? The substance is injected into the urethral wall to aid referral closure. Okay. So these bulking agents, they put these things. Let me just a minute. And they inject it into what? Loads of your foods as well. See if I can find it. And it's also known as what? Paraffin wax. Okay. But do these things help your body? No. Because that's why you have what? That's how you have what? Herbs. Pepper, garlic, lemon. Okay. So why would you need to put bulking agents in these things? Bear me just a minute. Another word is what? It's like a preservative. Okay. Basically, it's just preservatives. Okay, to preserve food. Because most of the food that are in your stores, how long are they there for? A very, very long time. You got food that's been in stores for a year that has not moved. Longer than a year. Okay. So we done with that. And this I bought a couple weeks ago. If you can see it properly. Okay, this is known as ginseng. Siberian ginseng, the proper one. And this is what in a watery form, liquid form. Brilliant, really good, really, really powerful. Okay, Siberian ginseng extract. Okay. Which has vegetable in it, glycerine, purified water, Siberian ginseng extract. But the only thing, what they've done to it to mess it up is to change the color. What have they done? put caramel in it. So Esau's always tampering with the medicines. Okay, always. Okay. So it's like, pay me just a minute. And this one, this no artificial, well that's a lie, no artificial colours, because they added colouring into this. Flavours or preservatives, no added sugar. So even the industry, the pharmaceutical industry, they've got their hands in everything. And this is what you do with this. You press it, and it's like you got the meter of how much you press in. You can put this in water, you can add it with water, you can add it in your food, you can squeeze it in your food, and that's it. But this is Siberian ginseng. But the whole topic is Esau, what has he done? He has his hands in every type of industry. He has his hands in. So even when you may say, well, I'm eating GMO, I'm eating non-GMO. Okay, you're not. Okay, and what's GMO? Genetic modified organisms. Okay. And what's organisms? Another word for organisms. Different levels of bacteria, which your body has more than 1,000 bacteria in it that fights off other bacteria. That's why you don't need a mask. Why would you need a mask when you have something called an immune system with bacteria that fights off other bacteria? That's why you have red blood cells and white blood cells, and that's why they fight. And that's why you have a new what? Cells that what? That reform. That's why every day you sleep, what happens? Your cells, you got dead skin cells. Okay, when you have a wash, what do you have? You have something called residue. Dead skin cells. Why does your hair grow? Because new cells, some hair falls out, and for your hair to grow, hair needs to fall out. So every day, your body, your molecular structure is designed to defend itself. That's why you have nails, that's why you have skin. Even in skin, you have outer layers of skin. Okay, you have layers of skin just like an onion. This is, the doctors ain't gonna tell you this. The doctors ain't gonna tell you this. Okay. Let's go into Ezekiel. Man. Go to Ezekiel. Let me shut off on this. Everything you're eating, even if you say, yeah, I'm eating the most organic food. Well, just believe 8 times or 9 times out of 10 they've put something in that, even if it's organic. Okay. Ezekiel 4 and 13. And the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. That was part of our punishment. So the food we're eating is defiled, is polluted, going all the way back from Cain, when he killed his brother. What did it say? When thou tillest the land, it shall not yield her fruit. Yield. What's yield mean? Strength. So with the food from back then, even the earth is, even the ground and the land is cursed. So if the land is cursed that we're eating out of, even in that, it's not going to fully produce this. That's why we need a new kingdom. That's why we need Yahweh Shai. And that's where the new covenant Yahweh Shai comes into play. Everything's going to be renewed. So even if you're eating the best food, it's still contaminated. Okay. So with this lesson, I really hope this was edifying. I know I went to a whole load of different topics, but I hope this was edifying. And until the next time, Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.